So today I'm going to explain the carnivore diet and why it works. Now, I wanted to make this video because I've been speaking to some people recently about low carb diets, keto diets and the carnivore diet, and it came to my attention that there's a lot of confusion. And when there's confusion and a lack of understanding, we can't fully benefit from something. And I think a lot of people could benefit from a carnivore diet. So I wanted to give my perspective, my understanding from an ordinary person. I'm not a medical professional, and I hope that might help somebody out there. So again, I'm not a medical professional in any way. I'm actually a farmer. I'm a cattle farmer. Now, what does that mean? One, you don't have to take my advice. I'm not a doctor. And two, I'm going to avoid using too much difficult terminology to understand. We're going to keep it simple because that's the way I roll. Now, what is the carnivore diet? I'll keep the definition short. It's simply a way of eating that is exclusively eating animal products that come from animals. So that's going to be mostly meat, also eggs, dairy, fish are in there too. Okay, so that's primarily what it is, and it's an exclusion diet. So we're excluding everything else. We're excluding all plants basically, and therefore all carbohydrates. That's the key. Now, why does it work so well? Here's the biggest reason it works really well for a lot of people: ketosis. So keto diets you've probably heard of before. It's simply the absence of carbohydrate. So we're removing carbohydrate from the diet, and therefore we're removing any sugars. Okay, so carbohydrates in the body turn into sugars, and that's where we get energy from. The other place we can get energy from, of course, is fat. So on a keto diet, we're removing the carbohydrate and we're replacing it with fat, and our body is going to burn fat as a fuel source. Now, the body can burn fat really efficiently. It does a good job. Once you adapt it, the body can do a really good job of burning fat. So that's why we can go into ketosis and we don't die. We don't feel low energy. You know, we can still function. This is my preference as well. I try and stay a lot of the time in ketosis. Whether I'm doing a carnivore diet or not, I will cycle. I'm not that strict with it personally. But this is the biggest benefit. Along with ketosis, a whole host of benefits come. Again, I won't get into them too much because I probably don't have the understanding, but please Google it, please YouTube it. If it's something you're looking at, it's worth understanding in depth. There's a lot of benefits to just dropping that blood sugar level, that blood glucose level, okay? Therefore, your insulin and the insulin that's in your body and your bloodstream, once that comes down and stabilizes, a whole host of other benefits can come in, okay? And really it's just removing, like I said, the carbohydrate and the sugar, because the sugar on itself can be causing its own problems in the body, okay? So it's removing that. So that's the first thing to understand. Really, there's only two parts to the carnivore diet: the ketosis benefit, and the second part is defense chemicals that are in plants, okay? So if ketosis was the only benefit, then you'd tell me, why can't I just follow a keto diet, so a low carbohydrate diet, and still have some plant foods, some vegetables, that kind of thing? Well, you can do that, and for most people that's going to do a world of good. But the second part of the carnivore diet is removing defense chemicals that are in plants. So as Anthony Chaffee, the famous doctor, says, plants are trying to kill you. That was his famous talk. I recommend you go watch it. Plants inherently have defense chemicals in their structure, in their cells. Okay, nobody's really disputing this. There's plenty of pages. The World Health Organization even has a page explaining these. Nobody's arguing that there's defense chemicals in plants. The trouble is they can cause a lot of harm to the human body if ingested in a bad proportion. The simple explanation for this is because plants, unlike animals, cannot run away or defend themselves in any other way. So they need certain chemicals and certain structures within their cells to harm any predator. Plants want to live as much as we do, as much as animals do. So they need a method of protecting themselves. And for most plants, that method is defense chemicals. Now, for the type of plant, the type of chemicals that are in that are going to change. So, legumes are going to have one type, more leafy greens are going to have another type, and mushrooms have another type. For example, I'm not an expert on what's in what, so I can't run you through that. However, I wanted to explain that this is the second reason, okay? You can't just... Keto isn't enough for a lot of people. People go on keto and they're still experiencing health problems. Sometimes we need to eliminate all the plants out to get back to a pure carnivore diet, and that's when people can really have that therapeutic ketosis and really rebuild their health. Now, this third point I've written down is that what we're doing is we're consuming really good fats and proteins. So if we're having adequate source of animal fats and animal proteins, what we're doing is we're filling our body with good quality. Now, what is good quality? Good quality can be defined by a type of protein or fat that is good for us. That's how we define quality. You know, you can't eat a house brick and expect to absorb nutrients. Good can be defined by the process in which it works in the body. So in our case, good fats and proteins for humans is going to be saturated fats and animal proteins. So when we eliminate plant products and we get back to a keto diet, by nature we're going to put in good fats and proteins. And a bit like I said with the keto thing, a whole host of secondary benefits come with that. So not only are we running on ketosis again, but we're also getting benefits from these fats and proteins. They're actually healing the systems within our bodies. Our brains are functioning better because of the fats we're putting in and the cholesterol in our body. So that's the essence of what we're doing. But like I said, really the benefits of the carnivore diet just come down to getting into a ketogenic state and removing harmful products and the chemicals that come along with consuming plant products. So that's going to sum it up. Now let me touch on what I do. Personally, I really like the carnivore diet. It's my go-to. If I'm trying to optimize my health, that's what I do. I go to the carnivore diet. If I am ill or I feel like I'm in bad health, again, I go to the carnivore diet to try and build my health up again. Day to day, am I strict? No. I'm consuming plant products. I'm cycling in and out of ketosis, so I'm not strictly always on this diet. But like I said, this is what I'd recommend for anybody who's in bad health and wants to improve the way they feel. That's just it. If you feel good, you know, you don't maybe need to make a change, but if you'd like to see some improvements, then it's worth looking at. That's my philosophy. So that wraps it up. I tried to keep it short and simple and hopefully easy to understand, but I hope someone's listening to this who will take some benefit and a bit of clarity. That's what's needed. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again. Thanks.